What's up, everyone? This is Bacon, and today we're doing a hero overview video for Haelus, the new celestial hero. He's a mage hero, he is support, and he is technically a buffer. And that matches up with what he does. Sometimes the roles are not totally lined up, but he's definitely a buffer support hero. Honestly, I haven't used Haelus much in Classic or in this game since he came out. I used him with the trials and stuff, but that's about it. So let's go ahead and just get into him. He's an interesting hero, that's for sure. And he also has a very long text for this ability, which is not my favorite, but I'm going to read through all of it. So Haelus crafts an obelisk in front of himself, which inherits Haelus attributes from the start of the battle. It has 35% damage reduction and immunity to control effects. The obelisk attacks deal damage equal to 180% of its attack rating to the enemy with the lowest health percentage, while also generating a shield for the ally with the lowest health. The strength of this shield is based on the damage dealt, but will have a minimum strength of at least 120% of the obelisk's attack rating. If an obelisk is already present on the battlefield when the ultimate is used, then that obelisk will recover full health and be leveled up once. Each time the obelisk is leveled up, its attack speed is increased by 15 points, rating by 15%, and crit damage amplification by 15 points. Level 2 obelisk attacks deal extra damage equal to 3.5% of the target's max health, capped at 250% of the attack rating. This damage ignores defense. Each time the obelisk levels up, it dispels most negative effects from itself and Haelus. So there's a lot going on here. It's just kind of buffing while also doing a little bit of damage, some sustain with the shielding. So honestly, this is a ton going on, and it's just kind of like overall supporting your team, helping them do more damage, doing a little bit of damage too, and then also adding sustain, which is great. That's his ultimate, by the way, if you didn't see that. The Spear of Craftsmanship, Haelus generates a divine field around the farthest forward ally. The field deals AoE damage equal to 280% of his attack rating to enemies within range, while also granting allies within the field a shield that can block damage equal to 210% of attack rating for 8 seconds. As you can see here, the shield is really nice, especially if you have someone who's kind of going into the enemy back line, kind of jumping back there. Someone like a Thalia, Haelus could work really well with, but you would need to build them both out, which might not be worth it. Level 2, he also receives the shield. Value of the shield is increased by 240% of attack rating. And then at level 4, which is the divine effect, it unlocks Spear of Craftsmanship skill upgrade. Generating a divine field also destroys the shields of enemies within range. So, getting rid of those shields is also nice. And having an ability that can kind of push through heavy shield comps can be beneficial for sure. Divine projection. Haelus crafts a divine cube and projects it onto the ally with the highest attack rating, not including himself, granting them 15 points of life leech if they are positioned on the front line, or 15 points of crit damage amplification if they are on the back line. Divine Cube lasts until the affected ally takes damage exceeding 40% of their max health from a single strike. This skill cannot be used on summoned entities or allies that already have a Divine Cube. If the ally is on the back line, they gain 25 points of accuracy and their damage dealt is increased by 20%. If they are the front line, they gain 25% dodge and their damage taken is reduced by 20. When ally effect, and clarification, when it says backline, this might seem obvious, but it's your backline. It's not like the enemy backline. It's your starting position when the round starts. That might seem obvious to most of you, but I just want to clarify that. When ally affected by Divine Cube deals damage, they inflict additional health loss equal to 150% of Haelus' attack rating. This effect may be triggered every half a second. And then at level 4, there's another divine effect. The obelisk crafted by Haelus' ultimate is always affected by a divine cube with its full effects. So divine and sphere have level 4. So that means there's one divine effect I I think this is the one that is not part of a skill. Divine Cubes will generate a shield every 10 seconds, which can block damage equal to 200% of his attack rating, and they no longer disappear after taking damage. Yep, so that's pretty cool. They don't disappear, and that's shielding. I mean, obviously you can see he does a lot of shielding. That's like his big thing, is he's making all these shielding with his arms and his obelisk and his cubes and all his little knickknacks or whatever. I don't know what you want to call it. So passive, when an ally receives any type of shield, the shield's value is increased by 20%. This bonus cannot exceed 300% of Haelus' attack rating. Shields granted to allies by Haelus also provide immunity to control effects. When an ally receives any type of shield, its value is increased by 30%. Like I said, shield, shield, shield. Now, one thing to note is looking at classic version, there's been a few kind of tweaks to how his kit works. Added a little bit more overall oomph to his abilities. You know, these percentages are higher in a lot of these skills. Not all of them. Some of them are the same still, but these percentages are definitely tweaked to make him stronger. Now let's look at his signature item. The damage dealt by the obelisk from Haelus' ultimate is increased to 20, and its shield value is 25%. At 10, each time the obelisk levels up, its damage dealt is increased by 15, up to a maximum of 60. Obelisk also attacks nearest enemy at 20, and then Obelisk attacks also reduce the target's energy recovery rate by 30% for 7 seconds, and this can be stacked up to 3 times. So, what do I think of Haelus? I honestly don't know. He is a complicated character, and without really building him out and testing him, it's just hard to say. I mean, he's also celestial, and I just don't think, I've said probably 50 times at this point, it's just not worth really just blindly summoning for celestials until you know for sure they're going to be like God mode good. Unless you're dropping a lot of money in the game, then obviously spend on whatever you want, summon wherever you want. But I just don't think it's worth it for someone like Haelus at this point. Do I think he's cool? Yeah, I think he's a pretty cool dude. I think he could definitely be useful in different areas of the game, but I just don't know. I just don't think he is someone who's going to be worth that. Now, my final note is, like I mentioned earlier, Athalia might be a good person to pair him with if you happen to have her built out and you want to build him out. I think that'd be kind of a cool thing to try. I'm not saying that I know for sure it's a good comp, but it sounds cool. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the Arena of Trials, see what he looks like in battle. Oh, wow, like teleported. All right, so you can see the shielding. The blue is the shield. You got the cubes hovering over my allies. And then I build my little obelisk. I think that's the obelisk. Now everyone is getting shield. We can go times 2. And that's kind of how he rolls. You know, it just kind of helps your team not die. And also, you know, buff some different ways and so on and so forth. Let's see if we can. I don't know if this team will win, but I want to see if he gets some good shielding. Yep, you can see shielding on my big purple guy here, on Tassie. Taylene has a shield. So, you know, you're going to see it adds a lot of sustain to your team. I mean, even like Tassie has no health, but she has a shield keeping her alive still. She's really bare if you look down here. Let's look at the... Why? Oh, there's no shielding option. I was like, why is there nothing that says shielding? That's kind of a bummer. You can't see shielding, but you can see he also did a good amount of damage. So he did the most on the team, actually, which no one on this team is super heavy damage except for this guy. But not too shabby, not too shabby. My assumption is the shielding maybe is in here, or it's just not shown, because this is damage taken. I don't know if that includes, like, if you have a shield on you and then you take damage and the shield absorbs it. I don't know. I'm surprised there's not a way to see that though, but touche. But yeah, that's Haelus. Like I said, I wouldn't pull for him personally. I think it's just not worth it. I would wait till you either have a ton of them and there's a really exciting celestial that's coming out that we know is going to be busted, or kind of pull for like Tailene or Mahira or someone exciting like that. But that's my video on Haelus, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe below. And as always, have a great rest of your day. Peace.